I want to put to you a question that came up in the audience earlier about Labour particularly, and whether a change of leader really would be enough, whether they need something bigger than that, different strategy, or even actually almost different values, that's how big the problem is. What do you think?
I think they have to do a bit of both. I think one of the most dispiriting things after the result today was the speedy resignation of Ed Miliband. I don't think he should have gone so quickly. I think he should have hung around for a little while, at least just almost as an administrative leader, just to oversee what the party does next. As of tonight, it's in a maelstrom. You've already got people jostling for making calls about maybe being the next leader. You've got people putting themselves in place to perhaps be the deputy leader, and I think it's all too fast. I think that they need to have a really good look at not just why they lost this election, but actually what they're for, who it is they seek to appeal to, a kind of almost a root and branch thing that they should have done maybe after Blair. And by rushing into this leadership campaign, I think that they're robbing themselves of the ability to do that. I think Labour always tries to represent a broad church of people, but in the 21st century, that broad church has got wider and wider and wider. You have the Milibandism trying to represent poor workers, 0 hours workers, and then you've got kind of Blairism looking for Mondeo man and a more prosperous kind of supporter. How does Labour tie those two together?
Well, exactly, and that has gained real sharpness, hasn't it, Polly, with now that you've got Scotland, where, in a way, that kind of Miliband anti-austerity message seems to find a big audience, but, ready market, and they've gone to the SNP, and yet in England, it seems you have to be a bit more aspirational, a bit more Mondeo man, maybe even just a bit more conservative.
I don't think you can have the same party that represents Scotland and England anymore. And I think that when you think about Labour and how it bridges representing Glasgow and the Isle of Wight, you realise that it's practically impossible. In fact, I think it is impossible. And that makes you realise that Scotland psychologically has gone. It can't be governed by the same party. I think Labour in Scotland has to start, well, it's quite easy since they've swept everybody away, completely start again at the very beginning, be an entirely new party that has no obligations to the Westminster Party at all, that can have quite separate policies and can just be Scottish and think about Scotland. And that's a difficult thing to do. It's almost, almost a separatist thing to do, but I don't think it has any other chance of reconstruction in Scotland unless it becomes purely Scottish.